is Fernando, and today is Thankful Thursday. And in our humble regard, we like to share our gratitude and thankfulness for everyone on this call, from everyone on the Unblinded team and all the amazing effort, hours, diligence, persistence, truth, loyalty that you display is utterly marvelous. And I have never in my life been part of such a dedicated team, such a group of Navy SEALs and Spartans. And to everyone on the call, like, same thing to you. You're here, you're consistent. I see so many of the same names. I see so much action within the chat. And it's incredible, to see what you all are doing on the mastery call, to see the ecosystem mergers that are happening, the platforms that you're all creating, the support, love, truthfulness that you display as team members, because we're building this together. Listen, we might be quote unquote on different sides of the Zoom call, but we're definitely on the same side of the mission, 100% for sure, factually. And as I see, beautiful souls like Beth and Michelle and Andy and Frank and Jay and Deepak and David and so many other names I'm not mentioning, truly step into, your roles, your power, your Zeus, like Lorelai, Gina, what you both are doing on the Real Raw Opens is nothing short of extraordinary. And I am full. My heart is full of joy and presence to the gratitude that is all of you. So on this Thankful Thursday, there's different prisms in which we can listen to. And we're going to be dropping in to some different areas when Sean jumps on in just a few moments. And for you, what's an area of yourself that you can share gratitude for? We spend a lot of these Thursdays sharing gratitudes for other people. And you can say it to yourself. You can share it in the chat, or you could totally skip this question. It's all good. As an opportunity and access for you, what is an area that you're grateful and joyful for yourself? So just take a second, take a second, whether you're driving, sitting, cracking your eyes open at 5:30 in the morning, depending on what time zone you're in. What's something you're thankful for you? Something that you do for yourself, something that you do for people that maybe isn't unnoticed, hasn't been acknowledged. Maybe you don't even need it to be acknowledged, but you know that it's there and that you know that it's you and it's part of your being, of your character. So what is that for you? Take this moment, hand on your heart, take this moment and share gratitude for you and the beautiful things you do. So Mr. Callaghy, I hear a whisper in the distance. How are you, sir? So Sean gets ready. I hope you've taken that moment, to really step into your heart and share what you're grateful for. And, I'll start with me. I'm grateful for my ability to be patient, because it wasn't always the case. My ego would get the best of me. I would want to react, to feed it, to fulfill it, and it would temporarily feel good. And as I've matured as a young man, patience has been a beautiful thing. My openness to patience, my openness to perspective, my openness to being wrong. I'm grateful for that within myself, is my ability to be patient and grateful. So for you, what is that for you? What is one of those? As I take a peek in the chat here, we have, let's start David Rush, for gym's reopening and being consistent every morning, self-care, self-love, so that we can care and love others. Erica is grateful for her courage. Diana, grateful for her courage to connect people with truth. Thankful for you for the opportunity to be present in this. We love you, Diana. Kristen is grateful that I get to fill my kids' lives with joy every day. Yeah, that's sounds like one heck of a feeling. Liba's grateful for pain because it shows her how she could accelerate. Trina is thankful for God's presence in her life through scriptures, words, and prophets. Frank is grateful for his amazing, amazing kids, which I believe just celebrated a birthday. So happy birthday to the Orange family. The Orange family, the Adam family. Hey, what up, SC? Hey.
Yes, I am literally in the dark. And I have no idea how to turn the lights on in my room here. So forgive the absence of light, but that is not happening. And good morning.
Morning.
Woo! On this Thankful Thursday. This is what it looks like. This is what it looks like. World, team, and family. So what is so wild about the gratitude and blessing of what we're doing here, and I guess probably the most important thing, I always every day want to share what I think is most valuable. in the moment. And what's funny is what I think it's going to be at 4 p.m. the day before is something different than at like 11 p.m. It is different at 5 a.m. It's different at 7 a.m. and then evolves into this. And so the point, let's lean into that. The point is for today on Thankful Thursday, here's what I'm thankful for. I am thankful for the growth and innovative mindset. Like our capacity as human beings to have a growth and innovative mindset. And if I could give everybody one gift today, right? That may change from day to day, but it's a top 20 indispensable gift for your acceleration and your success. It is to have the nimbleness of your thinking to shift, like the freedom of your neural connections being free, and to shift as you acquire new assets to structure your ideas, one. And two, it would be to spend 95%, I think that's reasonable, of our time in execution and not in the having of ideas. Right. And so, and let me lean in on a couple of interesting points around that. So, and I'll repeat them. So, one, it's the flexibility to realize the assets you've newly acquired. And a few minutes ago on a call I was having with Michael Smikin and Fred Pinto, I said to Michael and Fred that the greatest process mastery executor, right? And I'll call it executors that I've ever had the opportunity and privilege to work with, meaning execute on Monday, innovate on Monday night, execute on Tuesday, vertically innovating. Like vertically innovating. And so the first point for today is what I'm leaning into is our ability to masterfully vertically innovate. Because what vertical innovation is we defined it at Unblinded. And if you're listening to this, like this is like note taking, printed on your forehead, because this is the reason that so many brilliant people don't make money. This is the reason that so many brilliant people don't make money. This is the brilliant that why so many heart-centered people don't make money. This is the reason why so many hardworking people don't make money. Hardworking, heart-centered, brilliant. Some are all three, some are two of the three more massively, some are one of the three. It's because they don't vertically innovate. And it's because they fall in love with a concept of how to do a thing that they have never actually successfully done for themselves. And they try to tell other people to do it. Right? So what I said this morning, because we were like, Fred, Michael, and I were having a conversation, our innovative accountability conversation. And Fred was so amazingly stepping into, I'm like, I was at the stage of like, we don't need ideas. We need execution, but not just execution of an idea. We need the execution of a structural dynamic that leads to duplication, scaling, and growth. So my point, the first point of today before execution is you can only vertically innovate. And right now, if you're feeling the stress of overwhelm and you're feeling like, I'd rather when you're like in a silly, funny mood, or I'd rather when you're in a heart-centered conversation. Well, but then I'm not serving you. And the gift I want to give is if we don't understand the structure and scaling of what we're doing, if we don't understand the structure and scaling of what we're doing, and instead we select ideas and we listen to isolated idea dynamics, right? We're never going to ever have what we want. Because what everybody wants, the reason there's a money, time, and magic progression is because most people want to make more money. Like, by the way, you want to know somebody who knows what I'm talking about? A lot of people do. Elle Anderson knows. Jack Tavares knows this. And many others, but those two pop for me. Jack, Elle, like they get this. But the two people I was referring to, so we can close that loop and then tie this all together, on vertical structure, like structural building, and then in process mastery and vertical innovation is Adam and Fernando. Adam Gugino has for the past 2 months essentially been doing a job that I paid somebody with no sales background, no sales training in, $26,000 a year to do back in 2004. And they were pretty successful at it. So why in the name of the good Lord would Adam Gugino be doing that job? And the reason is to learn it, understand it, master it, so it could be duplicated, replicated, and scaled, which is how he built his prior company. Why in the name of the good Lord is Fernando running complementary strategy sessions? His charisma, his personality, his super high charisma, super high energy. He could be a great gatherer. Why would we be doing something so stupid and so beneath Fernando's talent base? Is something as simple as running a complimentary coaching session that we're calling a strategy session because we want to deal with a different energy. And it is a little bit different, but a different energy as well. And the answer is to scale, duplicate, and grow. So one loving challenge and question I would have is, if you're not doing this, why not? And if you're listening to the huddles and you're in Elite and you're in anything we're doing, and you haven't yet began to replicate this model, and instead it's like, hey, let me gather a whole bunch of people on my monthly mastermind call and see if they could like pay $100 for it or $50 for it, $9 for it. If anybody's giving that advice, ask them, where is yours? Somebody's like, hey, this is what you should do. The answer is, okay, great. Where's yours? That should be your answer. The next time a marketer tells you, do this, say, where's yours? Fernando, does that land?
Yeah, it that would have cut down a lot of conversations with a lot of marketers.
Yeah, where's yours? Wait, where's your thing that's $100 a month? How many people you have in it that feeds your world? Where's yours? And I'm not saying it meanly. Like, I'm saying it like, where's yours? The reason I built Caligula the first time, back the 40-person law firm, you hear the story. It's like, yeah, I heard the story. Just make sure like all the points are landing though. I built it so I had a credibility story. So I could say, I did this, so I know how to teach this. And what Fernando and Adam now can do with everybody who is emerging into our world is they could say, this is how you run an alignment call. Because 2 months ago, Adam was 125% as good at it as he is now. He's at least 4 to 10x. Adam, how much better at running? And by the way, stay with this. We're going to end in 5 minutes. Stay with this because I'm desperate and urgent to eliminate all deletion, dilution, distortion. Because I just came off a call with my partners, Michael and Fred, and they're like, yeah, well, somebody's proposing to do this. I'm like, okay. Like, why isn't the conversation how to build your assets around your real raw? Why isn't the conversation how to build this, how to build that, how to build this and that? Why is that the conversation? Like, well, I don't know. Like, I'm like, okay, do you realize that Fernando is going to run 11 strategy sessions today? How many is like that's what's happening. And do you know the sales for Unblinded yesterday and today were blank? Which, by the way, Fred and Michael, is a number you said, if you could maintain that number monthly in 2021 for Fit to Exit, you'd be thrilled. So in the last 2 days, we built what you hope to be the monthly revenue sales for Fit to Exit monthly in 2021. You're aspiring to. It wasn't a negative conversation. It was an amazing conversation. So what I am advising everybody in Unblinded Elite to do in these programs on this huddle is to do 2 things. First, understand what is your entire model. Well, I don't know. There's 4 levers. Which are your ecosystems? Which are your speaking engagements, your sales meeting, your sales? That's the entire long and short of the conversation. And what you do not want to be doing is reaching out to the general populace and gathering them generally and paying for it on the internet. That is not the unblinded process mastery formula. And if anybody here is telling you to do it, tell them to call, have them call me and get a phone call with me. And I'll pay the fee they're asking for if at the end of the phone call, you still want to do it. No dilution, no deletion, no distortion. Linear focus. Adam, in 30 seconds, is there anything I'm saying that isn't 100% accurate? How you built Momentum Solar, even if you didn't have the same words, and exactly what's happening, and why the hell are you doing alignment calls in 30 seconds, please? And where were you 60 days ago and today, and what's happening? In service of everybody here in love.
It's 100% what's happening. I'm 50x where I was in efficiency, time, understanding the formula, applying the formula to every call and to every person I speak to, and able to set the bar and the standard. The 20, now I know that 21 alignment calls, and I know the percentage you can, that 95% can turn into a strategy session as well. So the standard and the bar has been set for what's possible. And, you know, there's no way to ever discover that without being able to truly, you know, do it yourself. And also I have to say that the vertical innovation between the back and forth with Fernando has been as critical as me doing it myself.
Yeah. And Fernando, how much better are you at running strategy calls? How much better are you today at your ability to train someone on how to do a strategy call so we can have 100 people training 100 people on how to do this? How much better?
The direct answer is an insane multiple. Not only am I better at actually teaching it, just a certainty, my own certainty of what can be delivered and what can be delivered through other people. 10 is an understatement on that multiple. And I would share it's because of the sharpening Adam and I do every single day with you, of course.
Yeah. And here's the key distinction. The second point of today. Let us say this. Death to ideas. In the context of what we're talking about, death to ideas, long live execution. Death to ideas, long live execution and innovation. Death to ideas, long live execution and innovation. You learn by doing, not by having people who are not you telling you ideas from the outside that they are not executing for themselves. That's the concept. And so when people are like, hey, you know, I don't think your trial strategy, I don't think your way of doing accounting, I think there's a better idea. It's like, okay, well, are you executing anything? Like if somebody, and I don't know how Courtney Epps runs everything that she's doing, but I do know this, right? Courtney Epps' scaling and growth of how she works with a scaled number of clients and her number of strategy meetings, which was built on ecosystem merging. It was built on the formula. I didn't tell her to do that, right? So I'm not claiming, but like it explains Courtney's growth. She ecosystem merged, ready? She ecosystem merged with network marketing companies because what she said to them is what they wanted their audience to hear. So she added value. What they wanted their audience to hear is you should be in network marketing. And the reason she would say that with integrity and authenticity is because it creates a tax break on all the things you could do as a business owner. So they brought her on stage everywhere, and she had lines and lines of people who talked to her nonstop. Ecosystem merger, speaking engagement, sales meeting, sales. It's not complicated. The filter is real raw. Build your speaking platform. I bring 5, they bring 5. The number one lack of execution I see in the entire unblinded world is they bring 5, I bring 5. And if you're not clear on what that looks like, see what we have done with the real raw, and we're handing it to you. And many of you are taking advantage wonderfully and incredibly. And thank you. And it's happening. It's amazing. But the next step is what a lot of people are falling down on. And that was the conversation too I had with Michael and Fred. The build out step should be what we're doing on Monday night, and we were falling down on it, is what is fit to exit? What is the modern wealth builder, right? That's a platform, right? What is the unblinded partners? Like what is Epic Financial? What is your financial problem? Your Brian Ripple, Karen Dreyer, Tatiana, like Rob, like that speaking platform of the magic of there's two speaking platforms. There's a speaking platform that's the gathering people in the more macro, and the speaking platform that you're speaking into on the micro distinctions of your genius, giving it away until you build enough traction and resonance where you have so many meetings you can't handle them anymore, and then you're scaling and duplicating with somebody else to partner with you. So you're like, wow, I'm overwhelmed. You want it really simple? There's 4 levers. Where are you on your 4 levers? That's the entire conversation from today. And the way you get better at it is execution and vertical innovation. That's all we're speaking into. And every single person, like, I had a conversation with somebody and their idea is, I want to like put my head through a wall. It's like, okay, where is your 5? Who is your person you're doing a speaking engagement with on what date this month? And they're bringing 5, you're bringing 5. So you have a direct cross-pollination call to action for your sales meetings. Where is that? Well, no. What I'm doing is I'm going to build out this thing online where people are going to pay me $100 a month to come listen to. Great. That's called an idea. And how are you going to assemble that audience? Oh, I don't know. Okay. So like we're talking about how to do that. That's an idea. Now you're going to pay somebody else to do for you, to do what we're saying here every single day for free. And then you're going to pay them to nonstop think for you. And they're going to think less efficiently than you. So why is this happening? Like, why? And what I said to Fred and Michael this morning in that, and by the way, I've had this conversation like 7 times this past week, is where is the speaking platform and where, and I said, the issue is we don't have somebody right now, because Michael and Fred, you guys are super busy, that is there to execute. So we need a teammate to be in execution every day for creating these ecosystem mergers if you guys can't, and or building out the speaking platform. That is necessary, but not in idea and practical execution in ecosystem merging with humans. And Fred was screaming, execute. We were like almost chanting like warriors, like execution, execution, death to ideas, execution, execution, death to ideas. And that's where we're living here together. And that's the story for today. And by the way, I had a very different message from before, but when people as smart as Fred and Michael and I are having that conversation, we're completely aligned, by the way, like during it by the end, that's more important than what I was going to say before. Because if that's where they are, I can't even imagine where everybody else is, because they have even more proximity and they get lost and confused because they're talking to other people, good people, nice people, not bad people, but people that are not seeing what they're not seeing. So, and tomorrow we're going to lean in super heavily into some innovations and things that I was sitting here last night thinking about that I'll drop in for a minute and seed tomorrow, right? In the room with Tony Robbins last night, I was sitting there as I listened to an epidemiologist and the data and facts and information about the way things really work, about our body, our health, about COVID. And it was about, and by the way, when I say about COVID, and if I say this, hey, what do you think about wearing masks? Does your nervous system pull yourself into that conversation is either a conversation about right and wrong or about politics? Does that conversation feel like tinged with right and wrong or politics? Like moral right and wrong, like political? Does it mean something else? Because what we as leaders must fight for in our world and how we become leaders together is to fight for legitimate conversation about things. And as opposed to categorizing and vilifying people because they want to engage in the conversation. And that was what was most present for me last night as I was in that incredible room with Tony, professor from Stanford University. It was mind numbing. The data I was learning about the truth of what masks can and can't do and how all this actually works. And by the way, this is not I'm not going to start leaning into a conversation about masks here or not. I'm not even, it is so not worth it at this juncture to get into any of these dynamics on a micro level. I simply share it from the perspective of protect your mind against deletion, dilution, distortion. Protect your mind against deletion, dilution, distortion, like you're fighting for your life, because you are. And simply, when it comes to your money, time, and magic, make sure you're building your platform. You're building your platform, which means, doesn't mean your Facebook Lives. It doesn't mean building on Instagram, Facebook, or something else. It means your speaking platform with your ecosystem partners in the formula, understand the application of integrity-based human influence, what it is and is not doing to create gravitational pull and a tribe for you. And the last thing you ever want to be is the idea person. If you're the idea person, you're going to have a big problem making money in this world. You don't want to be the idea person. You want to be the person who can cause leadership and execution. You want to be the person who can execute and cause leadership in the space of execution. That is how you have all the money, time, and magic you desire in your life and your world. And at some point, people fell in love with being heart-centered. They fell in love with being brilliant. They fell in love with being funny. They fell in love with a lot of different things that are beautiful and wonderful. And I want everybody to be loved, to have everything that they want, to have the significance they want, the connection they want, the growth they want. But it is in the space of causing execution leadership, in the rising of ecosystem mergers, of speaking engagements, of sales meetings and sales. And that is the truth. And come debunk me. Come tell me that's not how Tony Robbins is. Tony Robbins owns 80 companies. Tell me. Tell me that's not how Oprah's Oprah. Tell me. Show me show me somebody who got rich because they had an idea. They got rich. Ask Bill Gross. Listen to a Bill Gross podcast. My podcast with Bill. Listen to any podcast with Bill, and he will tell you that it is team and execution over idea every day of the week and twice on Sunday. Idea equals going nowhere. They're a dime a dozen. Who can execute? Who's your team? How are you executing today? In your time blocking, in your acceleration. Fernando, Adam, final 30 seconds each, please, and then we'll wrap it.
Yes, I'm going to affirm everything you said. And I want to affirm one more thing, Sean. And it has to do with what you saw yesterday with Tony and what you've been saying to us, how even though this is one of the most polarized times in history, how close we are when it comes to just the human dynamic of what we're looking for in our heart-centeredness. Me and Fernando spoke yesterday about all the hundreds of people we've spoken to in the last 2 weeks. And neither one of us has ever gotten in a political or even know, I could not tell you whose side anyone is on of anyone that I've spoken to. And we've gotten to the core and deep with everyone. At the end of the day, we're all looking for more money, more time, more magic, and trying to make the world a better place. And we've seen that over and over and over on hundreds of calls. So you've been saying that all along, Sean. I just wanted to affirm it.
And Lipton, the epidemiologist from Stanford, said this: your thoughts, and Tony said it, are not your own. What you think matters is being driven down your throat by television and social media telling you what matters to get your cortisol engaged. And on a scientific level, we spent an hour in this conversation. Actually, it was 2 hours last night till midnight. I was going here. I slept 4 hours again, right? And sitting there in the unbelievable science of what is happening. So however angry you are at Donald Trump, however angry you are at Joe Biden, whichever side you're on, isn't even your own thoughts. That's the point. The level of rage that my father has. And when he comes to my house with a mask on, standing outside in my driveway in Long Beach Island, is a political statement from my father. And it's not his political statement. It's a political statement shaped by social media and the shows he watches so he can feel significant at 75 years old and like he's standing for something. That is what they want him standing for, and it means nothing. It's crazy. and he doesn't know the difference. I get what Fox tries to do and Donald Trump tries to do. I get what CNN and Joe Biden are trying to do. I get it. And I am clear when I feel charged about anything. All I am seeking is heart and math. And so I'll even go this far. I want to know what Donald Trump is claiming is wrong with the counting of the ballots. Because I don't just believe him because he says there's something wrong. Nor do I just believe Joe Biden. I want to know. I'm very curious. So I'm listening for hearing something about what's actually going wrong. Because if Donald Trump is saying, I'm suing everybody and asking for a recount, even if I believe in his tax and financial policies, I'm pissed. I'm pissed. Just like I'm pissed when Joe Biden says something else that's ridiculous. Can you stand in that space? Can you cause leadership and call out lack of truth, even if it's somebody that you're desperately hoping is the winner? Can you stand in that space, or are you going to lie with them to protect them? Because if you are, then you're the problem. And if you're not, then you're the solution. That's the point. Truth. Nobody's perfect, but what's the absolute truth? What's the absolute best criteria for picking our president? I don't know. But that's the conversation we should be having. How do we pick these leaders? Because I am sure as hell of this. The two people running for president should not be Joe Biden and Donald Trump. And how do we let that happen? How did we let that happen? There's a lot of reasons. But it starts with having more money, time, and magic so we can have the conversation instead of being too overwhelmed to build our businesses. And that's why I want all of you to be rich. Rich in money, rich in time. So then we can solve the real problems. That's the point of all this. And I need partners in that. Because I have enough money, right? I'm not Donald Trump by any stretch of imagination. I have enough money to like choose to think about this. What I realized is I can't do it by myself. I need a whole bunch of people that have money and time who are honest and don't want to blow it on strippers and blow and gambling and everything else. We need to cause higher vibrational leadership to solve real problems. That's why I'm in this. So if anybody's ever confused, that's why I'm in it. And I'm not in it so I can create more people who agree with being on the right, more people who agree being on the left, because the left and right are totally screwed up and broken. Both. That's the point of this. Whatever that means, it means, but you want truth? That's the truth. I want America to stay. I want to have a nation that truly stands for freedom and protects the rest of the world because they're all nuts and don't realize what's at stake. Because my grandparents did. But the America we're fighting for, whether you're on the left and the right, is not the America that is optimal. And maybe it's never been. And it's always been a teeter-totter between two crazy sides. And we end up in the middle. And maybe that's what we have to do forever, is just fight with each other and scream and yell to end up in the middle. But I believe there might be a better place. I truly do. So if you want to join that, great. But in the meantime, we're still in line because all I want you to do is make enough money integriously and have time to think about what we're talking about instead of struggling with how am I going to hire somebody so I don't work 16 hours a day? Or how am I going to get myself to spend 8 hours a day actually working because I can't even deal with my self-mastery? Because I love you. I love the outcome. I love people, unconditional boundaries. And I want to build this. And sitting in the space where we're sitting in, just remember, they aren't your thoughts. I promise you. And don't even believe me. Fact check and prove. There's a better way than the 4 levers I talk about. Then tell me. I'll quit doing what I'm doing today and I'll go work for that person tomorrow. Because we need people who are leaders to be free, higher vibrational, integrous, and to be causing leadership. Fernando, final.
Final is thank you, Mr. Callaghy, for sharing what we're really doing here, which is beyond, the rising of money, time, and magic and the teaching of integrity-based human influence. It is the creation of influential, integrous, heart-centered leaders so we can take on the real problems. And I'll take us home with this. 2 lessons. One, I learned from Michael Spiken. And when I was at Date with Destiny, I was feeling overwhelmed. I was in my ego. There was, a lot of different things. And, Sean constantly says, oh, Fernando, ego subjugation. Chaz is like, but dude, I don't understand. You never had an ego. And there's like this micro distinctions within what ego looks like. And one of the things Michael Spiken said to me as, when I step into anything, now that I have the formula, I use it. And the first portion of process mastery is model. So I chose to model Michael and ask him, what are the do's and don'ts of growing something with Mr. Callaghan? And one of the things he told me in that moment of overwhelm was, don't be the person that has the ideas. That's what my ego wanted. I wanted to prove to Sean, Adam, look how smart I am. Look at my genius. And what I wasn't doing was executing. What I wasn't doing was running 11 strategy calls a day and innovating like a lunatic. That's what I was not doing. And what I decided to subjugate my ego to and do. And look at where we are now. And Tom Filatico, when other situations were happening, he looked at me in the eye and he said, you know what? Everything's forgotten when you win. Everything's forgotten when you win. And this is coming from Sean's, childhood sports. And you've heard the stories of him ripping Sean's head off. And I was like, okay. Because remember, a game, whether it's the game of life or a game of football, is not won by talking about the play. It's by going out and running it. And when I decided to stop wanting to be the person to call the play, and I just wanted to be the person that they would trust to catch the ball, and I wanted to catch the ball over and over and over and over and over to earn that role, now we're in a different story. So for everyone, this is not a, hey, hooray, look at Fernando. This is simply me showing you my process mastery of ego subjugation. And these are not my ideas. These are the formulas. I said that to a team member yesterday. I'm not like the genius here. It says model and then it says measure. So let's just follow that until it doesn't work. And if you don't believe it's going to work and you're doing something else and that's not working, try this out. And don't worry about if it's going to work or not. Just do what needs to be done and follow the formula. And I give you my word, it works. I'm living it. And I hope you are too.
Yeah. And I promise you this. Thank you, Fernando, as we take it home. I'm not here in Arizona now working 18 hours a day for this week. And having no partying, no hanging out. I don't party. I mean, just even talking, BSing. I'm working 18 hours a day. I'm in my room. People are like, oh my God, have fun. It's going to be so exciting. Really? The last thing in the world I want to be doing right now is having this event happening. The last thing. I'm super grateful. I love Tony. I'm excited. I'm thrilled. When I say last thing, because I'm in the middle of implementing everything I've learned ever from Tony, right? I'm in causing my own self-mastery and acceleration. That's what's happening, right? And so when the reason I'm here, go, why don't you not go? Because there's a room full of leaders assembled and I'm causing leadership and merging ecosystems. And let us not be confused. I still stand for the idea that emerging ecosystems with Tony, because his level of influence is absolutely unbelievable. And while it's a certain place, it's going to continue to rise and move to higher places if that's what his interest is. But I do believe that because that's leaders coming together is what this platform is about. It's not about a speaker. And so I'm here to cause leadership. I'm not here to hero worship. I'm not here to fandom. I'm here to deliver truth. And the truth is that additional ecosystem merging is necessary to cause the impact that is being sought. Because causing fandom and hero worship is the last thing we need in the world right now. We are here to cause leadership and the coming together. And that epidemiologist said it. He said in that room last night, the problem is there's 150 leaders in that room that don't have a merged formula. They don't have a merged formula. They have merged heart-centeredness. They've emerged desire for truth. And now we need to merge around a formula. That's what I'm causing. Do not be confused. Love you all. And that's what you need to be causing in the rooms you're in. Everywhere with leaders. Causing leadership around a formula so we have a common foundation from which to achieve the most unbelievable. Because most of us, right? None of us have the charisma of Tony. And the reason he could have caused that, because everybody would like to be Tony, is because he is a 0.0000000000000000001%er. And you're not catching that. But we can cause leadership through a formula. And that's what we're doing.